welcome back. Still working with Lauren Heistad here and still working on my book. It's a beautiful day out, so I don't know. I thought I would read a book about the great outdoors and then head out there. Okay? Okay. Chapter 5, The Bird Lady. I have always had a fascination with birds. I love to hear them sing, watch them soar above, and observe the different types of birds as they each bring peaceful serenity to their surrounding environment. During the first part of my life, my relationship with this beautiful species was fairly general and for the most part uneventful. Around the time I turned 35, however, a new relationship with birds started to unfold. In particular, a specific event changed my perspective on birds and their role they play within our lives. In fact, my newfound friends literally changed the way I viewed the animal kingdom and their interaction with our soul path. Okay. It was 2 weeks prior to my younger brother's wedding, and I was at my in-laws for a family picnic. The ladies were sitting outside on the patio, enjoying a beautiful day of sunshine, cool beverages, and visiting. During the afternoon, the topic of my brother's wedding was brought up, and I joyfully shared with my husband's side of the family details of the wonderful bride my brother was about to marry and the wedding plans that were well underway. At the end of our conversation, I drifted off in my mind, which I do quite often. Anyways, I drifted off in my mind and silently voiced to myself how I wished my grandparents had lived long enough to see my brother get married. You see, he was the youngest in the family, and my grandparents were always voicing their concerns, pressuring him to find a girl and settle down while they were still around and able to attend the wedding. A little pressure there, hey, don't you think? Anyways, even with all their teasing, my brother was always a good sport, and I am sure he would have loved to comply with their wishes had the timing been right. Unfortunately, they all crossed over to the spirit world prior to his big day. As my mind wandered, I became slowly aware of something that had gently landed on my hand. And although I started to move my eyes towards that direction, I was also being prompted to listen to the whisper of spirit. Now at this point, I looked down and realized a bird was sitting on my hand. A simple little chickadee was sitting there and telepathically speaking to me in what sounded like my deceased grandpa's voice. His message was clear. Watch for us, we will be there. Can you imagine? Watch for us, we will be there. I sat there, mesmerized. I was not even frightened by the bird sitting on my hand, only fascinated by the sheer magnitude of the small visitor and the message I had just received. At this point, and of course not realizing what had just transpired between the bird and myself, my family began to laugh. After all, it's not every day that a bird lands on your hand while you're sitting at a table with a group of people. The laughs were quickly followed by the bird's departure. As gracefully as the bird had entered my life, it gracefully flew away. Everyone teased and suggested I'd been sitting in one place for far too long. Valid. Why else would a bird sit on my hand? The little chickadee must have thought I was a tree. my in-laws had joked. I laughed along with the group, but did not dismiss what had just transpired. No, that's not what it says. I knew a message had been sent to me through my winged friends, and I was honored to have received the message. Now the wedding day quickly arrived, and it was yet another beautiful day. The ceremony was outside in the most perfect setting with trees and gardens and loved ones all around, and I was cozily seated in the middle of a row, surrounded by people on all four sides, as I watched the ceremony unfold. Everything was perfect, and I had never seen my brother so happy. To be honest, I was so absorbed in the day's events, I almost forgot about the message I received 2 weeks prior. But at the end of the ceremony, and right on cue, as the minister announced, "I now pronounce you husband and wife," a bird flew down through the crowd, literally grazed my cheek. To get my attention. I could actually feel the warm, gentle, feathered wings as they glided over my face. I then watched in sheer awe as the bird flew up above the crowd and joined 5 other feathered friends directly above my brother and his new wife. It was like something straight out of a Disney movie. The music started to play and the group began to cheer as the special union was finalized. All eyes were on the bride and groom, except mine. I was still focused towards the heavens, watching these 6 birds circle the newlyweds over and over in joyful unison. Those 6 birds represented 6 very specific special family members who were watching over my younger brother on his wedding day. From the vantage point of the heavens, our loved ones cherished and cheered on the union of the newlyweds, just as they had promised. That day was the beginning of a lifelong relationship with me and my spiritual winged friends. Anytime I was feeling down, needing support, or just looking for some guidance, I started to notice there was always a bird there to set my mind at ease. I have had birds follow me down the highway during a 100-kilometer trek into a dreaded day of work. The birds gracefully fly low and beside my vehicle as if to say, "Have no fear. Have no fear." We will be by your side the entire journey. I have had birds land outside my window and peer in at just the right time to offer their support. I have had feathers left as a gift of inspiration when I needed them most. And I've had birds perch next to me while I'm out in my yard communing with nature. These winged creatures have been a blessing in my life, and I am so honored to hear their words of wisdom and feel the love they emanate. Birds have literally lifted me up and have guided me towards my soul works. A few years after my encounter with birds, I was attending a spiritual retreat and listening to a native elder talk about his spiritual encounters, and it was at that time he referenced my connection with birds and called me the Bird Lady. He also encouraged me to believe in my abilities and myself, something I had certainly been struggling with my entire life. Hearing his words of wisdom made my confidence soar. I had received confirmation yet again that I was on the right path. With his short but very accurate observation, I became more comfortable and confident in who I was and the gifts I have to share. Okay. Activating your soul works. Angels, spirit guides, and our departed loved ones are always by our side and are always willing to help in times of need. Spirit guides truly want to be a part of our lives, enjoying our happiest moments, supporting us through the toughest of times, and helping to ensure our life experiences are memorable. The spirit world watches us 24/7, providing round-the-clock inspiration and support. They cherish their opportunity to interact on a daily basis and actually appreciate being recognized as an active part of our lives. I am blessed to have established the presence of these divine beings and actively embrace their existence into my life at an early age. However, even if you never thought about your spirit guides before today, it is never too late to start. Your angelic team is as anxious to be a part of your life as they are in yours. I think I read that wrong, but you get the point. Did I mention I'm not doing retakes? I want to go outside and enjoy the beautiful day. So I'll just pretend I gracefully said that last sentence there and move on, okay? Okay. Their involvement is not a job interview we must conquer or test we must pass. Their love is infinite and their reach unsurpassable. There is no question too small, support too trivial, or magical moment too late to involve the spirit world. So what are you waiting for? Believing in the spirit world is the first step to making their interaction a reality. Even if you do not see, hear, feel, smell, or know without a doubt that they are there, you only need to trust and believe with an open mind. If I had approached the bird sitting on my hand as nothing more than a freak coincidence, my heart would never have opened to hear the blessing words from my loved ones. If I had been annoyed by the bird and its wings sweeping across my cheek, I would never have looked towards the heavens for an answer. Without an open mind, this wonderful story of my departed loved ones actively watching and being part of my brother's wedding would have been lost forever. To open up to the spirit world, start watching for the signs and synchronicities demonstrating the presence of your angelic team and loved ones. The signs are there. They are. The signs are there. You only need to open your mind and journey on the path within your heart to find them. Beyond watching for signs, it is also impossible to actively solicit the involvement of the spirit world. Oh, said that backwards. I'm telling you, I want to be outside with my birds. Okay, one more time. Beyond watching for signs, it is also very possible to actively solicit the involvement of the spirit world. For example, instead of wishing my dear Grandma Annie would send me a sign, I started to visit her and invite her to come every morning. Even though I could not physically see her presence, I did start having conversations and expecting to hear an answer. Over time, our mornings together began to blossom until it became a daily routine we both looked forward to. Sometimes we just sit and enjoy each other's company. Other times we talk about my future or reminisce about the past. There are also moments in Grandma Annie's time with me where she provides a shoulder to cry on, or the encouragement to move forward along my path. Thank you. Anyone who knows the two of us will attest to the strong bond we have had when my grandma was among the living. Those who are open to spirit have also recognized the strong bond we continue to nurture to this very day. My dear Grandma Annie continues to be my rock, and it all started the day I suggested she just drop by for tea. Sure, at first I thought I was making it up, but eventually I could hear her laugh, see her smile, and sense her loving energy. The key to the spirit world is through your imagination. That is not because you are making it up. It is because you are moving away from your logical mind that questions encounters with the other side. Once secure in the openness of your imagination, you are energetically free from the constraints of our world and begin to reconnect with the divine. Your move. Expect an answer. Do you want to hear from a deceased loved one? Actively start the conversation and expect an answer. The response may be a flash image within your mind, the melody of a song, a bird flying by, or a vivid encounter within your dreams. When it comes to communicating with spirit, the possibilities are endless when you view the world with endless possibilities. Establish a routine to convene with spirit. Initially, it helps to have a specific time or location in which to talk with your angelic team. Once the intention has been set and contact made, continue to verbalize to your spirit guides throughout the day. Honor them by utilizing their life coaching skills and lifetimes of wisdom. Your guides will reciprocate with answers to your everyday questions and assist you with your deepest desires. Talk to them like they are one of your best friends and an active participant in your life, because they truly are. Develop your symbolic language. You can either make your own meaning for symbols or you can buy books to utilize. The important step is to hold the intention that for your purposes, blank will symbolize blank. For example, I utilize a few interpretation books when conversing with my spirit guides, or I used to. A dream interpretation book, a number interpretation book, and an animal spirit guides book. There are many wonderful resources out there, and they're all very beneficial, actually. The key is to hold the intention that the symbolism contained within these pages will be the information utilized when communicating with spirit. Once this basis is established, your guides will utilize the books you have purchased for communication. I often have visions of objects, encounter numbers, and experience flash images of animals that are later referenced within the books to discover the hidden message from my guides. I've also come to create a lot of my own. For example, I believe owls represent wisdom or wise decisions. Therefore, if I were to see an owl in response to a particular scenario I've asked my guides about, I would consider my initial thoughts of proceeding down a specific path a wise one. Okay, increase your vibration. For those of us who still live and reside on the earth plane, our vibrational energy is far denser than the energy of the higher planes of existence. Meet your spirit guides in the middle. Meet them in the middle by increasing your own energy field. This can be accomplished by spending time in nature, singing, eating healthy, maintaining a positive outlook on life, exercising, and even simply smiling more often. The higher your vibration, the stronger the connection to the spirit world. Take this one step further and hold the intention that your vibration is increasing while conducting these activities. For example, while exercising, imagine your body becoming filled with light. While eating, envision the food being filled with light and increasing your vibrational energy. Know that food is a gift from Source and is to be enjoyed. And lastly, develop patience and persistence. This may sound like an oxymoron, but the two concepts work hand in hand. In terms of patience, acknowledge and understand that the spirit world does not always rotate around our earthly schedules. Even though you may wholeheartedly want a miraculous intervention or message from Spirit today, it does not mean you will immediately receive one. There may be far greater life plans underway or lessons you have to yet understand. Yes, I heard that. Thank you. Learn to expect Spirit's active involvement in your life, but honor their wisdom and divine timing. In terms of persistence, ensure your spiritual growth is a priority and continue to expand your awareness. If one method of communication doesn't work, try another. Spiritual growth is ongoing, lifelong learning. It takes time, dedication, and one hell of an unwavering heart. But guess what? You've got this. Thank you for joining me today. Go outside and enjoy the beautiful weather. I'll see you next time.